What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. We are back. We are here for the transfer view once again. The day after, the day after Bruno Fernandes has signed his new Manchester United contract, but also the day before the Premier League campaign kicks off for Manchester United, yeah? Just over 24 hours to go. Until Manchester United kick off the Premier League season. Yeah? We're in the Arsenal spot this year. No letdowns, no disgraciousness, because the word, no disgraciousness at Old Trafford tomorrow. It's going to be good, yeah? It's going to be good. We're all excited. We're all happy. We're all feeling good. I know I am. How is everybody doing? Click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, whilst you're at it. We do have a lot to talk about this morning. We're going to be talking about Bruno Fernandes, his new contract, as well as him revealing that there were concrete offers for him to leave Manchester United this summer. So we'll be chatting about that. Also, exits. That's what we're looking for. If it's going to be any more incomings, at least a big incoming, like Ugarte, as KG would say, Manuel Ugarte. So, one of those exits could be Scott McTominay going to Napoli. So, we're going to be chatting about Napoli. We're going to be talking about McTominay and possible people from Naples over here in the UK, having chats with Manchester United about a possible deal. They want a loan. Manchester United want something permanent. We'll see what happens there. Also, speaking of exits, Christian Eriksen could be on his way out of Manchester United. So much so that Manchester United reportedly are actually expecting offers for the Danish international in this window, which is a bit surprising, considering that previously it looked like he was going to be seeing out his contract at the club. That may now change, and that feeds into a new midfielder for Manchester United this summer. So we're going to be chatting about all of it. Click the like button. Be sure to subscribe whilst you're at it. Road to 175,000 subscribers. What a round number that is. On the long road to 200k, a possible party on the horizon. When can we do it? Anything is possible. Just like this transfer window. I can see people in the chat all lively on this Thursday, KG's favourite day. Tabrez says, depressing weather today, can't lie. It is. You know, hoodie's back out. That's how you know things are starting to turn. I thought it was a little bit chilly this morning, so I thought put the hoodie on. It's back. That's how you know we're getting back into the Premier League season. Premier League season's back. Weather starts to turn. So I know it's still mid-August, but you're getting towards the beginning of autumn. Oh, my favourite time of the year. And it's not just because it's my birthday in autumn, but it's my favourite time of the year. Autumn, winter, football, sort of chilliness. Not the best weather, but who cares, yeah? That's what I like. I can see KG, that comedian, is in the chat. He is there. He's very active this one. Look at him. 2 comments from KG the comedian. And also, actually, for KG the comedian, his favourite show will be back today. There is a press conference. Yes, a press conference. I think it's it's always weird with these press conferences. So I think it's set for 1:30. And then the quotes get released. I think the quotes get released at 1:30. The video gets released at 1:45. So I'll be live about 2-ish. I'll be live around 2 o'clock. It's KG, the comedian's favourite show. He always talks about that. He says that's my favourite show. The press conference. So that's going to be back later on today around 2 o'clock. And the full view. The full view will be live at 6 p.m. as well. So we've got a busy day. And I can see everyone in the chat getting involved. Very exciting. Yes, right. So let's talk about Bruno Fernandes. Let's talk about him talking after he's put pen to paper on a new contract with Manchester United. Let's begin with him talking about possible exits that he could have had this summer. He did have options, according to Bruno Fernandes. He has confirmed he did have concrete offers to leave Manchester United this summer. He said, quote, this vote of confidence from the club was very important for me, even because I was approached by other clubs. The club was aware that there was a possibility of me leaving. I had concrete offers, but the club showed that it needed me, that it was at time of change, and they wanted to do things differently. He also said, I believe there is a dream future at this club with the changes that are taking place. That's why I chose to stay. There were other directions that would have been interesting for me, other expectations, but I feel good here. I feel loved, and I feel that the club has been very respectful of me. Now, it's quite interesting, this one, because naturally, there will be the people that go, oh, sure. Yeah, sure, not Luke Shaw, but sure, there were concrete offers, Bruno. You're just saying that. But I do think that there probably were feelers put out there. That's why we got those reports towards the end of last season, right? We'd heard the reports of possibly Saudi, but possibly also like a Bayern Munich, possibly Juventus. I do think there were legitimate, whether they were actual, money on the table, contract offers. Don't really know about that, but I do think there are probably feelers put out there. And like I said yesterday, we did the video yesterday reacting to the news. And again, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. I'm glad that it didn't turn into something, because again, if you look at the timeline of everything that happened regarding Bruno towards the end of the season, you start to hear those rumblings of a Bayern Munich or a PSG or a Saudi club might be interested, and immediately I think we kind of brushed it off, didn't we? Go, there's nothing really in that. Just like we're doing there. We're going, concrete offers. Yeah, I don't really know about that. Bullshit. But it was enough for Ineos to call a meeting at Carrington. Remember that? When it was just a couple of days later after that, it was like, no, Bruno Fernandes, his representatives, they've held a meeting with Ineos, and it's kind of a like, where are we going in the future kind of situation? Are we on the right track? We're not doing very well in the league at the moment. We finished 8th. We're in the FA Cup final, but things aren't great. So where are we going? I'm 29. I'm still in the sort of peak prime of my career, but it's getting to the point where I do want to have somewhat of a legacy of winning things towards the end of it. So is that the direction that we're really going in? And Ineos clearly said, yep, that is. We're making a lot of changes here. We'll extend your contract. We'll get you to a level of pay that we think is comparable, because the wage structure at Manchester United is a complete and total mess. And we'll fix that. And we believe in you as the captain. And I guess you've got to kind of believe in us, and we'll show you what we're going to do. And to Ineos' credit, this summer, they've lived up to their words, I think. They've lived up to their word when it comes to bringing in players. They're trying actively to move players on. We know it's not easy at Manchester United to move players on because of the aforementioned wage structure. But I think even look at the exit of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Genuinely, and this isn't even like a slight against AWB or anything like that, but I think that exit doesn't happen under the previous regime. I think they get to that same stage that they got to, which was, when there was a bit of concern, this one's being held up a little bit, exit terms, maybe a bit of a payoff, this, that, and the other. I think under the previous regime, I think it falls apart there. I think it just goes, too difficult, can't do it now. Wan-Bissaka stays, leaves on a free. Sorry, Mazraoui, that's not going to happen. Soz, you got to go. I think that's what would happen. And I think the difference of having, again, that football leadership team who are experts in doing deals, who are experts in negotiating, who are experts in getting transfers done and over the line and making sure that things run as smoothly as possible, that's what helps get it done. That's what gets that deal done, and that's what facilitates bringing in Mazraoui. That's what facilitates, obviously, I think the De Ligt one was kind of happening a bit regardless at that point. But I think if you were Bruno Fernandes, you would have a look. You would have a look and go, well, the signings have been made this summer. Also, as well, you look at the people who you're actively negotiating with, your Dan Ashworths, your Omar Barada. We saw Omar Barada being as part of that picture, didn't we, in the Bruno announcement yesterday. And that's all very, very, very significant. So I think that Bruno would probably look at that and go, yeah, maybe things are changing. And again, it's not to get too carried away, not to be like you're just glazing Ineos. That's all you're doing. You're bought and paid for. That's what it is. It's no, you look with your eyes and you say, well, from what you can judge at the moment, they're doing a pretty good job. Now, obviously, proof will be in the pudding when it comes to results and performances. It's almost like Ineos, to an extent, thus far, have held up their end of the bargain. Now the players and the coaching staff and what have you, they've got to do their part now, haven't they? And sometimes that can be the frustrating thing, being in a football leadership position, is you think you've done everything you possibly can, and then, you watch the team play or the results don't really go your way, and you're like, shit. So there's still a lot of proving to do, but I think it is encouraging, and I think it does, once again, send another statement out to the players and out to other clubs that, this is our captain. We believe in him. And I think, to the wider squad too, it can send a bit of a message of, this guy's dedicated. This guy believes in all of this. He believes in the club. He believes in the people above him. He believes in the project. And now, that's leading by example, committing his future to the club. And hopefully those will follow by being committed and following the captain's example. Hopefully, it doesn't always work like that, of course. But not that it was a big saga. I mean, it wasn't a situation where it really looked like Bruno Fernandes was really gonna leave, and it was a big U-turn last minute, or a bit like Wayne Rooney back in the day, put in a transfer request and then signs a new contract. It was nothing like that. But I think if there's anyone that does deserve it, it would be Bruno Fernandes. And I think, like with any player, I was thinking this last night too. I was watching the Super Cup with the UEFA Super Cup with Real Madrid versus Atalanta. And obviously Mbappe scored in his debut. And I thought to myself, I said, Owen, what would it be like if Kylian Mbappe was a Manchester United player? What would that look like? And what discussions do you think would happen if Kylian Mbappe was a Manchester United player? And I came to the conclusion, if Kylian Mbappe was a Manchester United player, maybe 6 to 12 months in, we would be having discussions about, but does he really fit in the system that we want to play? Everything goes through him. Does he really kind of fit? I'm not really sure. Is it a distraction? Is he a distraction? There's too much attention on him. It feels like all the move just ends up going through Kylian Mbappe. That just feels what the problem is. I'm just not sure. Maybe we need something a bit different, because we do it with every player. We do it with every player that is a successful player at Manchester United, who does contribute. Eventually we turn at some point. And I think with Bruno, again, you look at his numbers, you look at his contributions, you look at his availability, and you look at his leadership. And I've said this so many times recently, but I really do believe with Bruno, it will be a case of we don't know what we've got until we don't have it anymore. And we did have that a couple of times towards the end of last season, missed a couple of games. And in those games, we started to go, we're not really creating that many chances. we're not really creating that many chances. I wonder what that is. I wonder what's going on there. So I'm happy with the news. I do think he had legitimate offers. I don't know if he was ever really considering leaving, but I'm happy with the news. I am indeed. I did want to bring up this. A big up MA for mentioning this in the chat. It says, has anyone seen the There We Land kid? Bruno replied to on Insta, really happy to see his growth. It's such a great story, this. If you haven't seen it, basically there's a young guy. Is he on TikTok, or is he just I think he's all over social media, but he's quite big on TikTok, I think. And I've now seen he's starting to do stuff on Twitter as well. And he's a kid. And he's trying to be like the Romano kind of thing. There we land. And I saw a few weeks ago, I think this kind of sort of spur, like really shook it up, as it were. Some people, social media, just bastards, were trying to mock him, basically. And he's just a young guy trying to get involved, do football stuff, chase your dream, put content out there, see what happens. And rightfully so, people were like, what are you trying to hate on a kid for? I mean, this guy's just enjoying himself, right? That's what he's doing. And now he's started to blow up a little bit, which is great. It's a fantastic story. Bruno responded to him on, I think it was, as they may say, Insta. I saw Brighton. They did an announcement yesterday, and they used the catchphrase "There we land." It's great. Like that is a great story. That is, again, social media where you go, that's brilliant. And again, he's a young guy. It's not easy, going out there, putting your face out there on social media or what have you, and you get the inevitable people try to put you down because they're jealous or they're envious or anything like that. And it's great. So big up to him. What a fantastic story that is. So yes, that is the latest when it comes to the Bruno Fernandes stuff. What we at when it comes to the likes at the moment? We're about 20 likes away from 300. Let's see if we can get to 500 likes if you haven't already. I tell you what we need to do. Speaking of, here we go. There we land. I think United View need a catchphrase. I think United View need a catchphrase for transfers. You know, I'm thinking. I can't. You know, here we go. There we land along the same line. So I'm putting it to you in the chat this morning. Maybe by the end of the morning, we'll have one. But I think we need to collectively brainstorm. You know, for transfers or whatever. You know, we need something. We need something, you know. So I'll leave that to you. If you're watching after the fact, put it in the comments. You know, if it gets the most likes, maybe we'll go with it. We need something. We need something. It will take social media by storm, you know. Anything. Can't already be used, by the way. We can't steal something. We'll get in legal trouble. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Jeremy says, here we view. Yeah, maybe. Ridwan says, it's been raining. Could you imagine that? Can you imagine go, but Matthijs de Ligt to Manchester United, it's been raining. we got to get one. We got to find something. Yeah. Matthijs de Ligt to Manchester United, powered by Dangor. Name is Red. Well, Joe Blackman says, go United. I mean, we'll keep it going. That is an open one. I task you with that this morning in the chat. Oh, that's a good one. SLD says you could do like Matthijs de Ligt to Manchester United.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
Done deal. It's a long one. I'm not sure how catchy that will be, you know, in all honesty. But we'll get it. We'll get there eventually. I have faith in you guys that we'll get to that point. I'll be fun. Right. Should we move on? Should we talk about Scott McTominay? Let's talk about Scott McTominay because this could be an exit that happens. Joe Fleming says, are you ready? The problem is, that's stealing, isn't it? I think WWE would sue me. You know, or us, you know. I don't want to get on Paul Levesque's bad side or anything like that. Don't want to, you know what I mean? I feel like that one would be catchphrase. Oh, that is a good one. I like that. It's all going off. That is good. Because that's got heritage at United View. I don't know where that soundbite is now. I know it was on KG soundboard. It's not on mine. And what game was it? It was the game when we played Fulham in the FA Cup, and there was the 2 red cards, and Flex started screaming. It's all going off. That is a good one. that could work. Matthijs de Ligt to Manchester United. It's all going off. That would work. I tell you, that's a strong contender. A strong contender. That's the one to beat at the moment. Tabra says Jesus would approve. I don't know if we can go down that route, Tabrez, in all honesty. It's all going off. Possible. That is possible. I like that. Not bad. Right, McTominay, because I'm going to get stuck on this all morning. I'm going to get stuck on this all morning. McTominay, let's talk about McTominay. The Times, Paul Hurst was saying that Napoli have opened talks with Manchester United over the potential signing of Scott McTominay. The Italian club would prefer a loan deal for the 27-year-old Scottish midfielder, as it is understood that their transfer budget does not stretch to United's asking price of £25 to £30 million. Napoli are hoping to entice McTominay to Naples, though, and have told United of their interest in the player, who has 1 year left on his deal, although United can extend his contract by a further year. Fulham have made a second offer of £20 million for McTominay 2 weeks ago, but United have made it clear to potential suitors they will only accept bids above £25 million. I think, in all honesty, they're looking for like 25 plus 5, something like that. This is quite a curious one, isn't it? Because we've seen this quite a bit, haven't we, with these with European clubs, clubs outside of the Premier League, that they just don't have the budget that Premier League clubs do. I mean, I was watching something this morning. I think it was Brighton. Have paid 40 million quid for a guy from Leeds, a Championship player, 40 million pounds. And I'm sure that clubs in Serie A or Liga or whatever, or even sort of clubs in La Liga, look at that, 40 million quid. Whoa, that's a crazy amount of money. So I don't know if Napoli will be able to do that. I know they're also trying to figure out a deal with Osimhen and Lukaku and what that would look like. So I don't even know if it's like truly their sort of primary focus at the moment. The suggestion was that Antonio Conte, new head coach of Napoli, his primary focus is bringing in Lukaku and getting that deal done. So this one might be a bit kind of secondary to all of that. I would be open to a loan if there is the obligation to buy, which, again, not sure if they will do. But what is quite curious with this McTominay one, what's quite curious with this is that it doesn't appear to be as dead as maybe people had thought. When Fulham kind of walked away a couple of weeks ago, and with their 20 million offer sort of rejected, there was kind of like he's going to stay, isn't he? He's going to stay. And that's what I was kind of feeling like at the time. But now, as we've said, as you get closer to the end of the window, clubs start to sort of panic. Clubs start to go, oh, actually, we might need a little bit more. Or maybe we can pay a little bit more. And other people's asking prices come down too. And it would be really interesting to see what indeed does happen. I mean, obviously, with all of this talk about Ugarte and that deal not being off, and really yesterday, I mean, I don't know what you guys think. You let me know in the chat. But yesterday, with all I was seeing, in terms of the reporting, it felt like actually this Ugarte deal might be sort of closer and more inevitable than it had been previously. I mean, what an up and down deal that has been. Once again, a couple of weeks ago, PSG, they're not going to lower their asking price. United are like, right, we'll go away, we'll look at other targets. 2 weeks later, Manchester United's prediction for what would happen with that Ugarte situation has really come to light, hasn't it? Which has come true, which is, well, eventually they'll reduce their asking price because they've got to. And they want to sell him, and they probably will. And George Mendes is pushing for it. Ugarte himself is really pushing for it. And it would be interesting to see if PSG do lower their asking price, do Manchester United perhaps lower their asking price because they're so desperate just to get that deal done? Could be something to watch out for. I mean, I know obviously with the Napoli stuff, people are saying, well, if they sell Victor Osimhen, wouldn't they just have money left over? And again, it depends, because it depends on what that deal actually does look like. Because again, there's quite a lot of moving parts with it by all accounts, because they want Lukaku to go the other way. Now, I don't think it'll be a straight swap because Osimhen's quite a valuable player. But at the same time, Romelu Lukaku, his wages at Chelsea are massive. Talk about what a strange career Lukaku has had, in all honesty. Is there a club he hasn't played for in Italy at this point? AC Milan, I think, is one of the top clubs he hasn't played for. He played for Inter. He played for, obviously, Roma last season. Probably going to end up playing for Napoli. He's done, the Chelsea return. Didn't work out. Played for United. It's mad. It's like Nicolas Anelka at this point with all of these different clubs. But again, it depends what the finances of that deal work out. And I suppose, if they do end up getting a bit of extra money from that deal, maybe that could go towards Scott McTominay. So I would say this is one to watch. I would say this is possibly one to watch for the next couple of weeks, because possibly, people will lower their price all around, whether it's Ugarte, whether it's us for McTominay. We shall see. But it looks like as of now, United are still quite insistent, aren't they, on, nope, it's 25 million. And even then, I don't think... Well, it depends. I mean, would they sell him just for 25 million? That's it? Because it felt like a few weeks ago, didn't it, that 25 million was sort of United's starting block to start doing proper business. But really, they were maybe looking at like a 25 plus 5, something like that. So we shall see. I mean, Erik ten Hag's been very vocal. Just went very sort of Nordic. Very vocal about being happy with McTominay, wanting to keep him. But as I said a few weeks ago, I wouldn't put too much stock in that. The reason I wouldn't put too much stock in that is, one, as you will see later on today, 2 p.m, I'll be live for it. A lot of press conference is horseshit. It is. It's this weird game between the journalists and the manager where they ask questions that they know the manager can't answer, or they ask questions and the manager doesn't want to give them an answer. Manager, just to kind of avoid controversy, will generally just say nice things about everyone. And that's about it, really. And then you have to, as a viewer, do this sort of strange interpretation of, right, was that true? Wasn't that true? You become like a human lie detector. I think that part of it was probably accurate. That part's not that accurate. But it also leads to a collective meltdown, like with a McTominay, when he goes, I'm really happy with Scott McTominay. He's happy with McTominay. What? How can he be? And you sort of go, wow, it's because it's talking to the media, isn't he? What's he going to do? Swivel around on his chair and goes, I hate him. I can't wait to get rid of him out of the club. He's never going to say that. And also, McTominay's really helped out Erik ten Hag last season, didn't he? With several goals that won football matches. So I'm sure at any chance, in public anyway, if you ask Erik ten Hag about Scott McTominay, he's going to say nice things about him. Why wouldn't he? Of course he would say nice things about Scott McTominay. Works hard, scores goals. Is he of the quality of a Manchester United player? Probably not. Definitely not a starter. Even last season he found his best role coming off the bench, but we can do better, and we should be trying to do better. So I think, again, it's still definitely one to watch, but if you're expecting Ten Hag to come out and say, yeah, definitely want him out by the end of the month, it's just not going to happen. He won't say that about anyone, like anyone. Even with Jadon Sancho last season, wasn't it? He was just like, well, he knows what he has to do. That was it. He knows what he has to do. Never like, I never want him to come back. Never want him to come back. I hate it if he'll come back. Can't stand him. He's just like, no, knows what he has to do. That was it. And I think you would hope 3 years into his tenure at Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, or 3 seasons into his tenure, he would also know that you don't say anything. Don't say anything even slightly controversial in that press room, because they will be all over you and it will spread like wildfire. I mean, the media, they don't even need an opportunity, in all honesty, do they? They don't need it. Have you seen the reaction over the last 24 hours? The immediate gaslighting by the top Manchester United haters to tell us that Matthijs de Ligt and Noussair Mazraoui are terrible signings. Oh my God. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. And but I would also say, can we sort of collectively, as a society, stop trying to get opinions on Manchester United from Tim Sherwood or from, I know, Jamie Carragher or from Robbie Fowler or from Graham Souness? Like, what kind of nonsense is that at this point? They've made 2 signings from Bayern Munich. Who should we go to get a good, rational explanation of these players, an expert, if you will, on these 2 players? Tim Sherwood, let's start with you. Well, I'm not sure if he's better than Harry Maguire. I wouldn't be too excited. Well, of course you're not going to be too excited, Tim. You hate us. Of course you hate us. We made your life a misery during your playing career because All you did is watch Manchester United win every single time. And for whatever reason, you've carried it into your post-playing career with the bitterness of, I don't even know, just the most bitter bastard I can possibly think of, Tim Sherwood. Look it up in the dictionary. If you looked up in the dictionary, bitter bastard, you go, that's Tim Sherwood right there. That's all he does. And he does it every week. Every week. And it's like Woody from Toy Story, isn't it? You pull the string. I think that's why. They pull the string, and you know the noise he's going to make. He's going to say, "There's a snake in my boot." Tim Sherwood's going to go, "I hate Man United." That's what happens, every single time. So, whatever. I mean, again, the gaslighting is mad. And that is also why it's important, I think, to stay together. Stay together as much as we possibly can. Last season was last season. Leave it in the past, because these guys are out for us. These guys are out for us. These guys are out for Manchester United, even when we're doing well. Remember 2 years ago we finished third in the league? Even when we were doing well, they were trying to tell us how shit we are constantly. So, yeah. And it's big deflection from Liverpool doing F all in this transfer market as well, isn't it? Nothing. Absolutely zero. But Arne Slot, he's great. He's great. Why is he great? He's bold. He's Dutch. I'm not sure that criteria was good, was it? Apparently, if he was in Manchester, that'd be a problem. But no, because he's at Liverpool, it'll be fine. So, yes, tangent that one. But that just wait. Just wait for it, because it's already started. It's already started, and it's mad, isn't it? It's mad, and that's why tomorrow we're gonna win, and we're gonna shove it up their asses afterwards, and we'll be like, shut up, Tim. Tim, Robbie, Fowler. Honestly, madness. Absolute madness. Where are we at in terms of the likes at the moment? We're less than 100 to go until 500. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well whilst you're at it. Couple of super chats. Dominic says, suggestion, Now We View. It does feel a bit sort of voyeuristic, that one. Doesn't it, Dominic? You know what I mean? Now We View. I mean, it just feels a little bit sort of, are they meant to be viewing? It's just having his medical. Let's just leave him be. I'm not sure if that one is if that one works. Now We View. Joe Fleming also says top quality incoming. Well, I don't think we're done in the transfer market. I still think we're gonna get a couple more signings, I think. So yes, big up Lilio's put in the chat. Here's the Clipper Flex. I will get that on the soundboard. That will be on the soundboard. Hopefully by the time the press conference comes around, maybe. It's going to be a busy morning, a very busy morning. Tabrez says, will Gary Nev and Carra grill Arnie at Melwood after his first two losses just before they play Man United in their third game? They best keep the same energy. Well, they won't. They won't. What it will be is with Jamie Carragher, very difficult. It's very difficult. He's got to settle in. It's going to take some time. I mean, I mentioned this in pre-season with Liverpool. I mean, I don't care, but if it was me, if you've had a real great manager in your history just leave, and immediately, all of the players and all of the fans are talking about how great things are under Slot. We're playing some of the best football I've seen in such a long time. Or I feel fitter than I felt in such a long time. I'd be like, wait a minute, this feels a bit of a slight. It feels a bit of a slight turn into the guy that you loved previously. And also, they want to cry poverty most of the time too. Well, it just goes to show the miracle that Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool, because he never had any money to spend. I mean, where's Don Robbie again? I'm going.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
He had a bid for Moises Caicedo for over £100 million accepted last summer, but they got no cash. They got nothing. Terrible, awful. We'll wait and see if they do that. Let's go to Tim. Let's go to Tim Sherwood again. If he has a difficult start to the season, shall we? Well, very challenging. Or if it was Manchester United, well, he can get out, lose his job immediately. Sack. I wouldn't be excited. Tim, honestly. And Stevie Nick will probably just have a sick day that day, wouldn't he? Just let's not talk about it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about let's talk about Christian Eriksen. Let's talk about Christian Eriksen and a possible exit for him. This one is actually quite surprising, coming from Darmesh. Not because he wasn't expected to leave this summer, but things had just gone so quiet surrounding him. And there had been some reports, hadn't there, just a few weeks ago suggesting that, no, he's going to stay, he's going to stick around, he's going to see out his contract. Well, Darmesh has said that Manchester United are expecting formal bids for Christian Eriksen. A number of clubs have explored conditions of a deal. Eriksen has 1 year left in his contract. Midfield recruitment is a priority. Budget and squad space is key. Ugarte, Sandberg and Amrabat all among live options in comparison to dead options, which would be not the best signings, in all honesty. But with an Eriksen departure, this is quite curious, isn't it, with Christian Eriksen? Now, didn't really say what those options necessarily were. Wouldn't get a lot of money, I don't think, for Christian Eriksen. I mean, say in the chat, how much do you think Manchester United, max, could get for Christian Eriksen this summer? With a year left of his contract, how old is he at this point? Christian Eriksen, he's what? 32, 33 in Feb. Year left on his contract. He was a free transfer. It's not a lot, is it? Yeah, you're getting, Tabarez says 6 million. Lilio says 3 to 5. Simon says 5. Asif says 500k. Yeah, it's not a lot, is it? It's not a lot. It's not a lot. But it's not about really the transfer fee, this one, isn't it? It's not really about the transfer fee. I mean, his wages... What's his wages again? Christian Eriksen. Time to go on to Capology. My favourite website in this transfer window. It is £150,000 a week. So it's about getting him off the wage book, isn't it, really? You know what I mean? It's about getting him off the wage bill. £150,000 a week. A couple of million quid. Doesn't hurt, does it? As for where he would go... Well, this is also part of the thing, isn't it? Is that you can maybe see it from his perspective, maybe why it might be a bit difficult. It's a bit similar to a Wan-Bissaka situation. He was on more money as well than Wan-Bissaka was, where he might look at it and go, anywhere I go, I'm not getting 150k. Not going to happen unless I go Saudi. But I'm not getting 150k wherever I go. So, do I accept a lower offer, what it would be, and a bit like the Wan-Bissaka situation, go to Manchester United and say, someone's got to kind of make things whole here. Someone's got to kind of pay me off, really, because I could be guaranteed X amount of millions of pounds. I'm not going to get that. So am I going to get that in terms of a signing on bonus from you guys? Am I going to get it in terms of an exit payment from you guys as well? So... it would, I guess, kind of depend. I think Manchester United might have to sort of bend the knee a little bit, as it were, to get this one done if they wanted to. But again, it depends who comes in for him. As far as clubs that have been linked to him, I mean, there's been reports maybe like sort of Turkish clubs interested. If that is the case as well, you could see that happening, couldn't you? A couple of million quid, but the wages once again would be a bit of a sticking point. I think Manchester United would have to try and figure that one out. But as we have seen with this Wan-Bissaka deal, if United do think that there is value in getting him off the wage bill and it could free up enough space to bring someone in, then I think United would do it. I think they would. But there would have to be a situation, I think, where United have to have some kind of exit payment or something like that to kind of bridge the gap of what he wouldn't possibly be getting. And once again, goes back to these contracts. That's why these things are just so important. That's why I know that every single time we sign a player, you get the pushback, oh, it's boring. Who cares about the wages? But you care when you try and sell them in a few years' time or towards the end of their tenure, because rightfully so, they do sort of go, well, I'm owed this amount. So how are we going to get to that point? I'm happy to leave because I'd like to play. I mean, he's not going to play every single game, is he? Clearly not. We're looking for midfield options, and you know he's a bench player at this point. and the thing with Christian Eriksen too, and you kind of forget this until when he sort of comes on. When he does come on, he starts spraying the ball around a bit. You go, he's all right, isn't he, Christian Eriksen? You kind of forget. You go, he's a good technical player. You sort of forget how quality he is. But he's just not the Christian Eriksen of 5 years ago, is he? Of just sort of being able to get around. He's good. He could play if you were totally dominating the game. You had all the ball. It's the last few minutes and you're just looking for sort of a key pass, a key pass, critical pass, or just something to sort of see a vision that other people maybe can't. He can do that. He can. But that's not the sort of consistency level that Manchester United need. And it's wild, isn't it? Because you think 2 years ago, our midfield was Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. And it was a great combination. It worked. Absolutely it worked. Casemiro, Eriksen, fantastic. And then a couple of years later, that's how quickly football can move, isn't it? That's how quickly things can change, and you can lose that yard of pace or a couple of yards of pace, and that is the difference. Because 2 years later, we're like, absolutely no way. Absolutely no way could you start Eriksen and Casemiro together. They'd get absolutely run apart, run through, because the pace would just be way too much. They just wouldn't be able to get around. And that was only 2 years ago. So that's how quickly things can turn. And that's why it's so important to always have your eyes on who can be the replacements. And also that's why you have to be wary of those kind of transfers, because you do have to think a couple of years ahead. Now, it's fine in the case of Eriksen, because really, the contract we gave Eriksen, it's like a 3-year deal. It's about the right time, isn't it? That kind of about worked. But with Casemiro, nope. Gave him that long deal. Gave him that long one. He'll be fine. He'll be fine, no problem. And in fairness to Casemiro, and this is also the funny thing with football, isn't it too? The weekend in the Community Shield, he did well. Casemiro did well. I mean, when it's a bit more compact in there, still did some Casemiro moments, but his passing was good, created chances, and did well. But that isn't enough to be like, we don't need a midfielder then, because Casemiro is clearly fine now this season. No, but the Eriksen one. Again, it did surprise me when Damesh tweeted that yesterday, because I did think that I just kind of had resigned myself that Eriksen will probably stay and see out his contract. But I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens if an offer was on the table and Eriksen was interested, because I do think United would have to facilitate it a bit, but I think that they could be willing to do that, depending once again on what happens with McTominay and how close they are with these other midfield targets. So that one is definitely worth keeping an eye out on as well. A couple of super chats here. Joe Fleming says, it's a done deal. It's good for the catchphrase. We're still working on the catchphrase. If you have just joined us, we've got "Here we go, there we land," taking social media by storm. This morning, I've put it to the UV community. We need a catchphrase. We need a catchphrase for transfer signings. I do like it's all going off. I mean, I suppose the thing is, it's a done deal is kind of just like what people would say anyway. The good thing with "Here we go" is it's still a bit separate. You know what I mean? It's very catchphrasey. You know what I mean? There we land. It's just taking social media, isn't it? Tavares says, can you load in a player with 1 year on his contract? Well, you can do it. You can do a few things with that kind of stuff, because you can have those situations where they've got a year left. They sign the player on a loan with an obligation the next year, and prior to that, they agree a new 1 year contract. They agree a new 1 year contract with their parent club. They can do that. So there's many different ways that they can figure these things out. Wasabi Meat says, we are flying. Reload it. It's sorted. Glenn C says, in full view. It just anything with the view at the end of it does feel like, again, we're peeping. And we might have used up our view quota on United View with the transfer view, full view coming up tonight, fan views at the weekend, full time view coming up at the weekend too. We might have overdone the view aspect of it. Match view, of course. Skiliano says signed, sealed, delivered. Can we use that, or would we get litigation from Stevie Wonder or someone like that? Would that be a thing? I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, it's still there. It's still there. We can let us know. Keep trying. And finally, guys, a bit of an update when it comes to these midfield quotes, these midfield targets possibly. Rob Dawson from ESPN, this is business. I like that one, Lil Yo-Yo. Rob Dawson from ESPN says, Erik ten Hag would like to add another midfielder to his squad, but interest in Manuel Ugarte and Sander Berg has stalled because what Manchester United believe are unrealistic transfer fees. Now, of course, we know when it comes to Ugarte, it was a similar price. What was it, like around 50 million, something like that? The Sander Berg one, I think, was around 30. I think it was around 30 million pounds. I still think we will sign a midfielder in this transfer window. I think we'll sign a midfielder, and I think we'll sign a left back. I think we'll sign a left back in this window. I think, obviously, tomorrow, a lot of people are saying, Mazraoui is going to play left back tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Dalot switching over to left back, and I think it'll be Mazraoui at right back. And my theory behind that one is Old Trafford, debut, you haven't played a competitive match for the team. I don't know if you necessarily want your first game to be completely, totally out of position. I know that happened with Amrabat in left back last season, but opening game Premier League season, I'd be of the mindset of let's put Mazraoui where he's most comfortable for now. We know Dalot will be fine at left back. Put him there and just get through the game, basically, and hopefully by the time we play next, we'll have a left back in or something like that. So I still think we'll get a left back, a low cost one. Whether again it's a permanent deal or a loan, might be a loan. We shall see. But I do think we'll get a full back because Luke Shaw, and it's not even necessarily just for like last season. Well, Luke Shaw is out for now, but when he comes back, when Malacia comes back, then we need a left back because they'll get hurt again. I don't know so much about Malacia. Hopefully, once he's back and his injury trouble's behind him. But you never know what version of him is actually going to be coming back. Whereas Luke Shaw, even when he comes back, he will get injured again. And that's not even a knock against him. We said it going into this season. It's inevitable when Luke Shaw gets hurt. He will get hurt. And it was just way sooner than people thought. And at this point, I don't know how many months been saying, need a left back, need a left back, need a left back. And I'm not having that Mazraoui is that option. We got Mazraoui now, so it's fine. No. Mazraoui is the backup right back, or he's competing rather with Dalot for the right back position. Obviously, he can play in multiple positions. That's great, multifunctional. But we still need a legitimate, proper left back who can play the majority of the games and not get hurt. That's what we actually really need. So I think for now, it'll probably be a low-cost option just to kind of get us through this season. But it has to be a priority. And look, maybe, depending on some of these outgoings, maybe it would. Maybe there would be actually a bit of money left over to get one permanently. If that was the case, that'd be great. I mean, hypothetically, if you did have Jadon Sancho go for 40 million, 50 million, whatever that number is, you would think the majority of that money would probably go to Ugarte, probably. But if McTominay ends up going too, maybe they do split it between a left back and another midfielder, perhaps. That's why I say anything is possible. That's the catchphrase for this transfer window. It's not the catchphrase for when we sign a player. But anything is possible. I've said it over and over and over again. Anything is possible. That is factual. United One says Shaw has not been hounded out like Pogba or Martial. I don't know why it's a competition, by the way, but I would push back on that because I think people have been talking about Luke Shaw's injury troubles for years. I think that's a bit of a falsehood when it comes to that. Now, would people like Pogba and Martial, did they get more criticism maybe from people like Graham Souness? Yes, absolutely. I would agree with you on that one. But I don't know why the immediate pivot with all of this is, wow, you never criticize, like people used to criticize Pogba and Martial for their fitness record and they haven't criticized Luke Shaw for his. People have always been criticizing Luke Shaw for his. It's the same situation for all three, really, which is when they're injured, we roll our eyes and go, I can't believe they got injured again. And when we play, we go, oh, they're good. It happened with Luke Shaw at the Euros, wasn't it? Luke Shaw, I don't know why he went, but he went. And when he did play those games, the semi-final and final, look how good Luke Shaw is. Look how great. He's playing fantastic. Because it's not a question of quality. Like for all three of those players you mentioned there. It's not a question of quality for Luke Shaw or Pogba or Martial. But eventually, there has to be a cut-off point. Eventually, for me, it's the moment you have the conversation of you have to put if they're fit at the end of the sentence. I think if you have to put that at the end of the sentence, I think it's already done. I think it's finished by that point. Any player throughout history, when you go, well, if they're fit, then you go, well, that's already a problem, isn't it? And then he joins the likes of, they used to say it about Jack Wilshere at Arsenal, didn't they? Fantastic player if he's fit. They're saying it now about like Reece James, aren't they? Oh, he's a great player if he's fit. Well, if you're already having that discussion, not good. Not good. And he's certainly not to the level of, remember when Ledley King was at Spurs and they just facilitated it because they didn't have anyone else better. And when he did play, they're like, he's great. But that's not the case when it comes to Luke Shaw. Great player, but can't rely on that, can you? Can't rely on that. Just not consistently available enough. And just not what more needs to be said, really, when it comes to all of that. Even when he comes back, he will get hurt. he will get injured again. Even Erik ten Hag said it towards the end of last season himself. He said Luke Shaw can't play 60 games. And that would be fine if it was just a case of, well, he's not actually injured, we just need to manage him. But no, we can't be at that point where we're having to actively, I mentioned this on the red carpet, we can't pretend that it's good that we're having to actively go, well, for that game, yes, for that game we take him out, or for that game we got to take him out, we can't play him for that one. Because we did that with Varane for a while, didn't we? And there's only so long you can really do that with players where you go, well, they can't play these 2 games in the week, so they'll have to play one. We have to decide which one is more important that they play. And it already leads to problems, isn't it? So we need a left back. We absolutely need a left back. 100%. But there you go, guys. That's the transfer view for you this morning. Or go another super chat here. Didn't come up on my thing, which is weird. Kristen says, Shaw is United's coffee boy now after the Adidas ad. I tell you what, that was a good ad, wasn't it? That dropped yesterday. And to be fair, I think the kits are very strong this season. I really like the third kit. The third kit's really nice. The away kit's growing on me. The only thing that I'm not totally sold on is still the home kit. It does feel quite plain a little bit, but we've spoken about this, haven't we? With that, ultimately, what kits are best remembered? The kits that are best remembered is if you win shit. If you win shit and you're really successful, there you go. I remember that kit. That was a great kit. that was a great kit. That kit. Why? I remember when we won the league or we won Champions League or whatever. For my favourite, the sort of 07-08 line. That was my favourite with the white strip down the back. That's still my favourite because every kit they did for that was brilliant. They had the black one, which I think might even be better, by the way. The black one with the white strip down the back, brilliant. And then they had a blue version as well. Oh, they did that. Oh, that kit is just perfect for me. Perfect. And as I've said, I know that this is a divisive one, but I like the picnic blanket. I like the picnic blanket kit, or the lumberjack one, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, love it. Love. I was a fan of that because I had the goalkeeper kit. I had the green one. I had the green picnic blanket. That was nice. Yes, and as many people are saying, the goalkeeping the goalkeeping kit this season, the black one, the one that Onana's got, nice, isn't it? Nice. All those people, what was it, Flex the other day when he was saying, "Oh, no one gets goalkeeper kits"? Bullshit. Yeah. Suddenly now, people want to get goalkeeper kits. Oh, I had them back in the day, when they weren't very nice. One year, I think it was like 2005. It was like sequins. Yeah, the Roy Carroll kit. I had that. And you can take the rough with the smooth when you're a goalkeeper, yeah? But if you play in goal, you show up with a goalkeeper kit. That's what you got to do, okay? So they haven't always been nice. Usually they're green at Man United as well, usually. And there have been some rough ones, but it's all right. It's okay. There you go, guys. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. A reminder, what's on tap? We've got the press conference going to be coming up at 2. So I'll be live at 2 o'clock for that. And Full View will be coming up at 6 p.m. as well. So big up to everyone for tuning in. And we'll be back later on. I'm out of here. Peace.